On this channel, I speak a great deal about something called retroactive jealousy, which basically refers to unwanted intrusive thoughts, often obsessive curiosity, and what I call mental movies about a partner's past relationships and/or sexual history. But as I've covered in other videos, the term retroactive jealousy is somewhat misleading, because while retroactive refers to the past, which is involved in this phenomenon, the person experiencing retroactive jealousy doesn't always necessarily feel jealous in the traditional sense. In fact, sometimes I think a better term that would be more applicable to a lot of people dealing with this issue would be something more akin to retroactive envy, which is the subject that I'm going to talk about in today's video. My name is Zachary Stockill, and since 2013 I've been working one-on-one with thousands of men and women from all over the world, helping them overcome retroactive jealousy, helping them overcome jealousy in their relationships and often save their relationships. If you'd like more information about my work or you'd like to work with me one-on-one, please visit my website at retroactivejealousy.com. So we've covered retroactive jealousy and the basic definition of that term. What is retroactive envy? By the way, I'm sure this term exists somewhere else, but I'm using my own definition for this term of retroactive envy. Retroactive envy involves many of the classic symptoms of what I call retroactive jealousy. So quite often you have things like the unrelenting intrusive thoughts about your partner's past, the unrelenting and sometimes obsessive curiosity about the details of your partner's past. Maybe you stalk their exes on social media, or you stalk their phone, or you creep their social media profile for information. You start digging around the internet for information. Maybe you feel the urge to ask them a million questions about their past. Maybe you have graphic mental movies about their past. Retroactive envy, as I define it, can involve all these symptoms and more. But what distinguishes retroactive envy from retroactive jealousy, I believe, is the feeling that on some level, maybe the sufferer actually envies the fact that their partner had maybe a broader range of sexual experiences in their past. You could also call it retroactive resentment. It's like, my partner had all these fun experiences when they were young, and I want to punish them for that on some level because I didn't get to have those experiences myself. This is a very, very common component for many retroactive jealousy sufferers. Needless to say, not every retroactive jealousy sufferer experiences those feelings, but many do, especially if there's a wide imbalance in the sexual history, for example, or the dating relationship history between the person suffering from retroactive jealousy and their partner. So maybe their partner's had far more experience and maybe they haven't had quite as much past dating or sexual experience. There's an imbalance there, and there's often a sense of resentment, sometimes anger and envy toward their partner for having had all these experiences that maybe they didn't. One of the messages I feel very passionate about, and that I talk about a lot in this channel, in the spirit that I bring to my videos in this channel of telling my audience what I think they need to hear, not necessarily what they want to hear. One of the most important things I can tell anyone struggling with retroactive envy is your past is not your partner's fault. Your partner is not responsible for making you feel better or worse about your own sexual past. And the good news for you about dating and sex and relationships is your relationship/dating life is yours. You get to make your own choices, and you can make different choices starting right now. And sometimes people get this wrong about me and my work. Sometimes people assume that I say the right choice is always to stay in the relationship, to work things through, to fight and keep the relationship. And while that's often the right choice, it isn't always the right choice. Sometimes the right move for everyone involved is for you to move on and find someone new, or perhaps be single for a while, get a few more experiences, and then start a new long-term relationship perhaps when you've had a little more experience under your belt. My job is not to judge anyone for wanting anything. My sexual ethos is basically, as long as no one's lying to each other, as long as no one's getting hurt, choose your own adventure, more or less. So what I'm saying to anyone struggling with retroactive envy, as I call it, is your past is not your partner's fault. And you shouldn't punish your partner for the fact that they have more of a past than you. That's not fair, that's not right. The worst thing anyone struggling with retroactive envy can do is linger in the relationship for more months or even years, continually punishing their partner for their past. By the way, this also applies to anyone struggling in general with what we call retroactive jealousy on this channel. Your past is not your partner's fault, it's not their responsibility. Your partner's past is not yours to judge and blame and lash out and all these things. If you find things out about your partner or their sexual history or whatever that are fundamentally unacceptable to you, you have every right to move on. Now, I hope you do it as gently and kindly as possible, but of course, that's your right. What is not your right, in my view, is to stay in the relationship and continually torture and punish your partner for their past over and over and over and over again. By the way, how do I know this? Because I used to be guilty of this. When I was a much younger man in my first serious relationship, I spent way too long punishing my partner unnecessarily for their past. Their extremely normal past. Actually, my past was more colorful than my partner's, but that's another story altogether. So there was the element of hypocrisy on top of that as well, which I'm definitely not proud of telling you today, but it's a fact. I used to do this. And I can tell you today that it is still a source of great regret and embarrassment for me. What right did I have to go around punishing my partner for their very normal past? If it was really such a problem for me, I probably should have just sucked it up and moved on. But there was a part of me that was afraid to do so because I loved this person so much. So my solution, at least for a little while, involved continually lashing out at them, being confused about my feelings, and all this stuff, dragging the process out for way too long, rather than truly owning this problem for myself, rather than truly taking ownership of this problem, and even more importantly, taking ownership of taking the steps towards finding a solution. By the way, if you appreciate this video, please take a minute to let me know by clicking the like button below. Please be sure you are subscribed to my channel as well, and leave a comment beneath this video as well. This kind of helps my channel and win the favor of the YouTube algorithm gods. So please do comment, like, subscribe, share, all that fun stuff. Anyway, if anything I've said in this video kind of resonates with you, if you think you might be struggling with retroactive envy, it can be a very good idea to find a place where you can be alone, a place that's quiet, a place that's peaceful. Take out a journal. I talk about journaling all the time, but it's a really useful tool. Take out a journal and ask yourself, is there a part of me that maybe is tough to admit, but is there a part of me that is kind of envious of my partner's past? Is that maybe fueling some of the emotions that I'm experiencing? Is that fueling some of my anger and resentment that I have towards my partner because of their past? Am I actually trying to punish my partner for their past? At least in part because I wish I had more of a past. I wish I had had access to maybe some of those opportunities that my partner had that for whatever reason maybe I didn't. I would also mention to anyone struggling with this problem that just once more, I don't think there's anything wrong necessarily with moving on and finding more experiences. My advice to you as a former retroactive envy / retroactive jealousy sufferer, my advice to you is just don't waste time punishing your partner for their past. It's just, you will wake up one day, look back on your life, and you'll have these kind of pangs in your stomach of regret and just, why did I do that? Like, that was so unnecessarily cruel. It served no one. You can make whatever choices you want when it comes to your future. If you feel like you need to move on, that's great. But at the same time, ask yourself if it's really worth it. If you're struggling with this phenomenon that I call retroactive envy, ask yourself, are more sexual partners, is more dating experience, is that truly what I want? Is that really what I want deep down? Is that really what I need? Maybe the answer is yes, but maybe the answer is no. Remember also what you'd be giving up if you decided to walk away from your partner right now. As I often say on this channel, I believe that you can have most of what you want in life. I really do. But you probably can't have 100% of what you want. And no one has a perfect past. Of course, any choice we make in life, on some level, when we make that choice, we're saying no to other choices. There's no such thing as perfection in human beings. There's no such thing as perfection in anyone's past. The crucial component is realizing that, looking at your choices with a level head, realizing that every choice you make, you're gonna have to say no to other choices. And just finally, if you're struggling with retroactive jealousy or retroactive envy, taking ownership of finding a solution. On that note of looking for a solution for retroactive envy or retroactive jealousy, click the link in the description of this video to receive a free mini course. It's totally free. You can unsubscribe anytime. This video mini course will give you the tools to get started working through some of these feelings, to get started overcoming retroactive jealousy. So be sure to click the link in the description to find out about that. Thanks again for watching me today, and I'll talk to you again very soon.